George Balbona.
I've got handouts for you. Hey, I'm George Balbona. I'm a very concerned Georgia voter. I'd like to start by asking why do we have over a dozen empty chairs reserved for the Secretary of State up front? No one's sitting there. Are you allergic to your people? Okay. A year ago to this very day, Georgia Representative Barry Fleming, the author of HB 316, spoke with the State Ethics Committee about HB 316. Barry stated, and the bill has required that when the audit occurs, that the audit is eyes on paper, and you count what's written on there. That's how the audit process is so important in this, because it provides that assuredness, I guess you would say, that our voters need. In stark contrast, Deputy Elections Director Kevin Rayburn, this guy, told the State Commission that with current cryptographic technology, they can create an image of every single ballot cast, and that, I quote, "We are pretty certain no one has modified these images." It's not good enough. You'll never hear me say this again, but I agree with Barry on this. If the state election boards approves democracy-killing rules, which state that Georgia is not going to look at the paper at all and instead rely upon unverifiable QR codes, why the hell did we purchase a voting system with paper at all? It's called bait and switch. A Georgia Superior Court judge told me this week that sunshine is the best disinfectant. I agree with that, and I'd like to know why the state election board does not. The SEB is actively attempting to break Georgia law in order to hide post-election activities from Georgia voters. Proposed Rule 12-.12 tabulating results states specifically poll watchers, and only poll watchers, are permitted to use photography after the close of the polls. This is flat-out misdirection. Georgia Election Code 21-2-406, Public Performance of Duties of Official States. Superintendents, poll officers, and others engaged in conducting the primaries and elections held under this chapter shall perform their duties in public. The SEB is trying to take away the right to peacefully observe and record post-election activities from the entire public, and is surprised we won't say thank you for giving that right to no more than 25 poll watchers statewide. That is not what anyone considers in public. Lastly, I have a big problem with proposed Rule 15-.03 optical scan recount procedure, which states, the superintendent may designate a viewing area by which members of the public are limited for the purpose of good order and maintaining the integrity of their recount. My problem stems from a Fulton County Marshal evicting us from the building and blatantly disregarding his commanding officer. I submitted a complaint, 11 pages, and I was told by Fulton Marshals would implement mandatory training regarding the rules of the election process. This was never done, and I have the incredibly lacking 15-slide PowerPoint presentation entitled The Do's and Don'ts for Deputy Marshals Working Elections. It mentions 21-2-413 that prohibits photography while elections are taking place, yet it fails to mention 21-246, a mere 7 codes and 8 pages away. In short, I'm sick of all the state election boards maneuvering to strip rights away from Georgia voters under the guise of making things better for them. Do your job. And by the way, I got copies of what I handed to them, and I also have an official SEB complaint, which I'm going to be giving to Francis.
Adam Hinchcliffe, Gene DeFord.